Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host Lance, here with my other host Matt. Every episode we like to introduce our adult beverages of choice. Today I will be drinking a birthday gift, one that my friend Nick gave me a couple weeks ago. This is Aberfeldy Highlands Single Scotch Whiskey. This is a 12-year, and I think this is pretty normal, right on the bar, something I'd expect out of Scotch. It's good. I like it a lot, actually. We've definitely had some worse ones, but this is expectation, and I like it a lot. And then, of course, I got a New Glarus Spotted Cow on the side. What do you got, Matt?
I also have a Spotted Cow, of course, and then I've got the rest of the Macallan 12-year because you were nice enough to leave it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate it. It is delicious as last time.
Yeah. Now it makes me very interested in to see what like a 14-year or 15 would taste like.
Well, that's also going from like $60 to $100+. So,
definitely. Yeah, this was on sale for $70 from $80, I think.
Oh yeah. So it's $80. I think it's $120, and then I think it goes to $200 at that point. It gets expensive. It gets very expensive.
Yeah, it does. It better fucking taste like it too. So yeah, I'd be scared to put that much money down. But if 12 was so good, then I would only expect more out of that.
Yep, I definitely agree with that one. This is good. I keep trying to look out for new things because we've had a lot at this point. I wish we would have taken pictures because I'd be like, okay, we've had that one and that one and that one. Let's try something new. I've been keeping an eye because we definitely don't make a bunch of money. So let's keep it reasonable.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 3 years now, so we've definitely gone through quite a few bottles.
That's very true, and we just keep going through more because can't get enough of it.
Never. All right, Matt. So what are we covering today?
Today we are going to be covering season 1 of Classroom of the Elites. This is about a high schooler named Ayana Koji who goes to Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing High School. Definitely a mouthful on that one. The premise of this school is that once you graduate, you can get any job or go to any school you want, which, as we know, watching a lot of anime, that's the most important thing in life, really, like especially when you're in school. But unfortunately, the school is not what it appears to be, whether it is the exams, the points, or even some of the fellow students. There's twists and turns throughout this entire series, and I can't get enough of it. It's been so good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I like it.
Without giving anything away.
Right.
You'll never hear it called Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing High School again. So.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, that is mouthful. Or at least if they were to give it, its abbreviation or something, but...
Timinous? I don't know. I'm just trying to... No idea. This series is definitely a psychological thriller, and it was I started watching this kind of when I was going through some of my dark, like I wanted to watch a little more edgy stuff, and not the edginess I was thinking of when it came to this series.
Oh yeah?
All the fan service, not exactly what I was going with.
Yeah. There's definitely lots of fan service.
Yes, but I did love the psychological thriller of this series.
Yeah, that's definitely the pull that you can take from this anime. It's definitely what keeps it interesting and what made you continue watching.
Yeah. Lance, I know you have a really good Lance's Lessons for this episode. You want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, so today's Lance's Lessons is going to be the Japanese word for expelled, and that is Suiho Sarata. Suiho Sarata is spelt T-S-U-I-H-O-S-A-R-E-T-A. And Suiho Sarata is very important in this series because if you get expelled, you're out of the school and you don't get those special perks, and that's very important to everybody who's in this school.
Yeah, I do have a little comment from the light novel about those points and all those extra perks that they talk about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, now I'm very interested in that, so if that's the case, let's just jump into Matt's Manga Mentions.
NANI?!
Yeah, let's definitely jump into it.
Oh, also, just so everyone's clear, he went through and read the light novel. So this isn't manga, this is light novel stuff. So
yes,
we actually have the original source here.
Yep. Something that is different is that there was no class introduction until after the teacher gave her introduction.
Okay, so I don't remember his name right now, but he's like, "Oh, before the teacher gets here, let's just introduce ourselves."
Yep.
That never happened?
No, that does not happen until after the teacher goes through all of her spiel about what the school is all about.
Okay.
You find out that students cannot contact anybody outside the school or leave the school grounds. So they do mention that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because they were talking about how everything that you can ever want is here on site.
Okay. So they don't need to leave. Okay, that's fine.
And outside contact is very, very limited.
Yeah, they say no outside contact.
Yeah. Okay. So that might be a little bit different. I'm pretty sure he said extremely limited, but I'm also pretty sure she did not say no contact.
Yeah. Which makes what happens later in the series with the father make more sense, because why wouldn't he just contact Ayana Koji?
Sure.
Why would he go through the school to get him out?
Right.
It's because he's not allowed to talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
Once you graduate, your points are useless.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they just go back into the system.
Makes sense. But yeah, they didn't say anything like that.
Yep. I will say Ayana Koji's personality is different. He's much more like kind of an awkward teenager in the light novel series.
Okay. Kind of like how when he was making his introduction to the entire class and he fumbled fucking everything around and
kind of
very embarrassing.
Kept talking about how the names get so bundled up together. Kushida, he keeps talking about how good she smells and like how attractive she is, like throughout the entire thing.
Okay, Kikyo Kushida, the bubbly girl.
The bubbly girl with the split personality. Yes. Yeah, he's like, she's dangerous, but man, she smells good. And then like, yeah, it's very much just this awkward high schooler kind of stuff. They go through all the clubs that the school has, and that is when Ayana Koji learned who Suzune's brother was, because he introduces himself to all the classes at that point.
Okay, so there wasn't one big get-together?
There kind of was, but it was because they were essentially doing a join this club. This awesome club has this. This club has this. Just kind of introducing all the clubs. Clubs are important. I will say that. You learn that some of the boys in the class before the swimming episode, they made bets on who had the biggest boobs.
Okay.
Very, very much high school boys. They bet it had to be at least 1,000 points to be a part of the bet.
Okay.
Of course, Ayana Koji's like, well, I don't want to be left out, so I guess I'm going to do this. I don't remember. I did not write down who they bet. Wasn't not important. I'm pretty sure did they all bet on Kurosawa? I think some of them did. Or not Kurosawa. It was whoever the bubbly girl in the class who ends up is like dating. Is it Ichinose? No.
Class B girl?
No. Is it Kurosawa? Yeah, Kurosawa. So she's the most popular girl in Class D. I think that was what some of them bet was her, because they hadn't seen him in anything with their uniform at this point.
Oh, the one who was dating Yosuke. I think it was Yosuke. The one who was actually dating someone at the end of the season.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Koenji wears a Speedo to the swimming thing.
In like episode 2?
Yeah.
After they learn everything?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
You do find out that the point of that was they had an event where the fastest boy and the fastest girl got points. They had a competition about it.
Oh, they got points?
Yeah, they got points.
Oh, that was never in the anime, because they were still trying super hard for points.
Yep.
To be fair, they talked about how they didn't earn any points this week or something like that, and there's lots of time skips in the beginning of the season. So
kind of, yeah.
So to get bits and pieces of points along the way, that would make sense that they could have like these little competitions to earn bonus points, because they have to survive, and they're not going to go a couple months of earning 0 points.
They kind of can, because there's a lot of free stuff.
Right.
There's free food, free toiletries, like every bare minimum there is something free of, which we do find out about. So technically they can get away without getting any points.
Right.
You learn that Sato got a 14 on his practice exam, so that first one that didn't count for anything. Sudo, not Sato. He's the basketball guy.
Oh, I always referred to him as Ken.
Ken. Yeah, Ken Sudo. So he got a 14 on the practice exam.
Big dummy.
Koenji scored a 90, which would have been top of the class.
Okay.
Just kind of shows that even though he's a complete douche, he is actually smart. Only Class A is guaranteed of getting whatever college or job they want, which is why it's super important to get into Class A.
Oh, okay. So Class B, C, and D don't get that guaranteed.
Nope.
Interesting. I thought as long as they stayed in the class or stayed in the school, they were guaranteed anyway, and it's just an additional perk to get up higher in those classes.
No. So that's a big issue that happens against the teacher, is that she unveils this, and they all said the same thing. It's like, why would we go to this school? And it's like, get to Class A and it won't matter. Mm-hmm. That's basically what she told them.
Right. Okay.
There was 3 weeks between them being told their fates of being expelled and the exam. There was 3 weeks between. It
was 3 weeks? Okay. The anime said it was an entire month.
Close to a month. Suzune talks to the teacher about why she was placed in Class D. And prior to that, Ayana Koji was brought into the teacher's lounge. Basically, their teacher threw him in a locker or in a closet and made him listen to this entire conversation that Suzune and the teacher were having about why she was not good enough for Class A.
Interesting.
Because they talk about how in this school, as you know, it's more than just academics, or Sudo wouldn't be in this school.
Right. Teacher was saying it's based on merit alone.
It's based on everything, right. Not just, so if you can score well, great. But if your character isn't good, if you can't essentially work with others, then all these other reasons, then you're not going to be in Class A. That's basically what it is. Mm-hmm. And she was the one that pointed out that Ayana Koji got 50s on everything, on all of his entrance exams.
Okay, so it wasn't
her
brother?
Nope.
Okay.
And the teacher noticed that when he answered, or she noticed Ayana Koji basically not really cheating, but he was holding back when he scored an answer on the practice exam perfectly that only about 3% of students get right in all 4 grades. So 3% of students get. And he missed a question that 3/4 of the students get correct.
Okay. So he's like picking and choosing.
Absolutely.
So he got the hardest answer or the hardest question correct, but he got one of the easiest ones wrong.
Correct.
Okay.
There was no incident with Suzune's brother, and the conversation with their teacher is what brought the change to Suzune. So basically, the teacher brought Suzune down to earth about why she is in the position she's in, not her brother.
Okay, what part in the anime are you referring to?
It's the same incident that her brother tells Suzune/Ayana Koji that, you're interesting because you just happen to get a 50 on all of your exams. So that's that whole scene. That's kind of, he was bringing her down and doing all this other stuff.
Where he was like about to strike her.
Yep.
And then he stops.
Yep.
Ayana Koji stops him. Okay.
Yep. Suzune would stab Ayana Koji with her compass when he would start drowsing in class.
Okay, so it was more frequent?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like all the time.
Interesting. Okay. Because now that makes way more sense. When that happened in the anime, like they just did it that one time and they were so quick and they almost...
It made no sense.
You blinked and you missed it. And yeah, It made no sense.
Yep.
So, okay, that makes a little bit more sense right there.
Yeah, she was doing it to him all the time because this was after they basically learned that due to them falling asleep in class, missing class was the potential of them losing points. Mm-hmm. So now everybody's paying attention in class. And of course, Ayana Koji cares, but he doesn't care. So he was like halfway drowsing in class and she would stab him with her compass.
It's funny.
Here's a big difference. Ayana Koji caught Kushida on the roof hating, basically like venting about Suzune after the study session in which Sudo stormed off and Ayana Koji kicked the door as he was trying to escape, and that's how Kushida found out that he was there.
So this all happened on the roof, not alongside some river?
Yeah.
Because that was very strange that he would follow her all the way, and like he's following her for quite a while.
Yep.
Never calling out like, hey,
I mean, he's awkward. So.
He's very awkward and he's very curious. He's very, he's letting us know that he's more mysterious than he's supposed to be. But, in reality, why would you follow somebody for
blocks?
For blocks, clearly, because he went quite the distance.
Yep.
It's definitely creeper. But anyway, yeah. So obviously it was on school site. Well, I'm sure that was all still on site, but it was much more relatable.
It made more sense.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it would have made more sense. And then it all happened almost in succession. Like it happened in a very short period of time instead of like, here's this incident, here's this incident. It's less building of stuff, but it makes more sense collectively.
Okay, quick question on that.
Yes.
If it was at the roof, was the party was still
that hadn't happened yet.
Oh, it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, that hadn't happened yet.
Okay,
so we're talking the study session, the very first study session.
Yep.
It's that night that this happens.
Oh, that's when. Oh, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
So she expresses how much she hates Suzune.
Yep.
After that study session, she doesn't express how much she hates her after they celebrate everybody passing.
Correct.
Okay.
Which also makes more sense because this is the first time that they've had to work together. And she hates her. So, of course, this is going to be when she's the most frustrated about her.
Yep. I like this one, too. It makes way more sense. I understand where the anime went.
Yes. It's more suspenseful in the anime.
That, and also, I like that comment that they made where the girls' floors were up more levels compared to Ayano Koji.
Yes.
So if she was going to the roof, he might have noticed or saw it right away and been like, oh, well, she's just going to her room. But then again, he could have been like, well, she's going up higher than her room.
Yep.
So, okay. So it could have gone in multiple directions.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, he watched her go into the elevator and then saw that she didn't stop. She went all the way up. And so then he went up as well and was like, wondering what's going on.
Right. That makes sense.
And then he kicked the door trying to escape, and that's how she caught him.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yep. And then Kushida pinned Ayano Koji against the wall using her forearm against his throat, basically being more menacing.
Yeah.
And was like basically the same thing. Don't, in her deep voice, comparatively deep, and saying that you're not going to say anything, yada, yada, yada.
Does she still put his hand on her boob and do the whole fingerprint DNA kind of thing? Okay. I didn't like that. I got a big problem with that right there, but
he does make a comment about that, but it makes more sense when she has him pinned.
Yeah, I like that.
Versus just, let me grab your hand and now you're going to touch my boob. He makes a comment. He's like, this is the first time I've done this and it wasn't that great.
Yeah, because he also made that comment in the anime like, oh, this is my first girl's phone number I ever got, and this is how I got it, and this is not the way I envisioned it.
Right? Yeah. Basically the same thing, but just with her boobs instead of...
He's getting a lot of firsts, but in the unorthodox ways.
Right? Ayano Koji also confronts Kishida about their previous relationship. Their previous, as in Kushida's and Suzune's relationship, because he says, you didn't know who I was, but you knew who she was before she introduced herself.
Oh, so Kushida knew Suzune?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I don't really remember that from the anime, but
so in the anime, Suzune never introduces herself.
Okay.
But
yeah, it's probably interrupted by that Ken guy.
Yep. But Kushida knows who she is before she introduces herself.
Okay.
Without going into anything. Yes, they do know each other.
Actually, now that you say that, I think I do kind of remember that now.
Yep.
It's ringing a bell. I don't know if that's just false memory being implanted, but we'll go with that. Go on.
And then Kushida agreed whoever scored the best between the worst graded students, so, basically it's Ayano Koji and his friends, she would go on a date with them.
Oh, interesting.
It was motivation to get them to study better.
Okay, I like it.
And Ayano Koji learned about getting the test through a 1C class member. Basically, he made some comments, and Ayano Koji was like, oh, I wonder. And that's how he came up with the idea.
Okay. So it wasn't just some trial and error kind of thing. Like he got hinted at that he can go talk to an upperclassman and figure this out. Okay.
Yep. And then he actually paid 15,000 points for the tests.
Yep.
Okay. I thought it was 10 in the anime, but I know.
It was, yeah, you're right. He very sternly stayed on 10, and the third year one and 30 talked him down all the way. He's like, okay, the absolute lowest I can go is 15. He's like, okay, I can do that, but you have to throw in some quiz questions too.
Okay, yep, you're right. And he actually didn't have the tests, but he knew somebody who did.
Oh, okay.
Then the class was told if no one fails, they will get a vacation on the island. So they got told about the island way prior to them actually going there.
Interesting. Okay. A little foreshadowing there. I like that.
Yep. And then the pseudo did not actually get a chance to study the English test, so that's why he failed.
Oh, was he like too busy playing basketball or just
basically he was cramming all the tests and fell asleep before he could study it.
Okay.
So this was talked about prior to the tests. So that's why Suzune knew to do bad on that test.
Wait, so Suzune even knew about the whole grade curve deal?
Yeah, because they go about it in the first exam where they're like, okay, this line, everybody below it is failing. This is why. So then Suzune knows that, she can kind of do the math in her head that, okay, if I do bad enough, our average score will go down, and then it will help, in this case, Pseudo with his number because it'll be lower, so then it can almost be on that line.
Right.
And so she scores a 52 on her English test.
Interesting.
To basically, again, to help make sure that number stayed low enough to prevent him from failing. Unfortunately, he does. But then she tried doing some math where she was like, well, on the first one, it was like 31.2 or whatever the passing grade was. It was 0.2. So you round it down, or you didn't round at all. And then on this one, it was 39.7. So why was it 40? You shouldn't have rounded at all. And they were like, no, we round up or down depending on the number.
Okay.
She was like, oh, okay. So she was trying to fight for Pseudo. They do mention how the tests are always the same.
That's basically what they were saying.
Okay.
I don't think they were expecting all the questions to be the same.
Yep.
And if they weren't, it was the same topics.
Yep. That's kind of what they thought, but then, yeah, they were all the same.
Okay, interesting.
Tests and answers, obviously. But then something that happens in the light novel is basically Suzune was like, the only thing you're going to do during class is you are going to study the exams. I will take notes of everything that happened in the class, and you guys are going to study. That's all you're going to do. You're going to show up every day for 8 hours and study, or 6 hours, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so that's what they did for a week, because the test changed and they got told about it the week prior. So you know how it starts counting down those days?
Yeah.
That's the significance of that is that the test was changed, and they found out about the change 7 days prior or 5 days prior, whatever it was.
This was a different test than the one that he bought, right?
No. So it got changed to basically the one they bought.
Oh, okay.
But that was the significance of the countdown, is that they were told at that point that the exam had changed.
Well, that's interesting. Guys, that definitely, I don't remember any kind of changing talk being in the anime.
Yeah, they don't talk about it. And the teacher knew about everything Ayana Koji did to help the students pass.
She knew about
knew everything.
Stealing or no, the buying of the answers?
Yep. They basically, they tell her, or she told them everything is for sale.
Yeah. You can buy anything with your points.
Yep. So it's not encouraged, but if they are resourceful enough to buy it, then they wouldn't make the test the same if they were trying to discourage it.
Right. Because it's not like real life is trying to make you fail.
Yep.
Like if you have a method in work and your job is profitable because of that method, you don't change that method. So
yep. And that's
makes sense. I get it.
Basically how it goes. Yep. Ayana Koji and Suzune pay 100,000 points.
Yep.
They do pay the 100,000 points. I think in the anime you can infer it, but they don't confirm. They
say that she's like, give me 100,000 points and I'll give you that one test point, which was very strange to me. And this could have been for a future topic to talk about, but everyone got the 100,000 at the beginning of the month, and Ayana Koji and Suzune were very smart with their money, and they didn't spend it. So how much did that set them back? Because like we never got like how much money they actually spent and how much money they were left over with after they bought his point. So that was stuff that I was curious about.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly a lot of money. It's essentially 1 month's worth of points if you were perfect. And they're no longer perfect. They're not getting that big ass money anymore. So yeah, I was just very curious on how much money they have left over. And this was several months into the school year already, because that was the midterm exam. So yeah, just curious questions.
They were, was it 3 months in?
Maybe, depending on how long their school year is. I mean,
I think
6 to 8 months.
I think they started in, don't call me because I don't know. I'm not going to try and guess because I don't remember. I don't know. I'm not going to.
Yeah, not worth it.
So I think they were 3 months in, and I think Ayana Koji they split it between the two of them to get to the 100,000.
Yep. That was expected.
And then the end of volume 1 is after the celebration party in Ayana Koji's room.
Okay.
So basically that party happens done with volume 1.
Cute ending for the end of a book, so
Yep.
understandable.
You find out this is something that you notice in the anime, but I can almost guarantee you didn't actually notice it. It costs 20 million points to jump into Class A.
Interesting. I'm glad you said this because, yes, the anime never talked about it,
Nope.
but they sprinkled the idea in. I had at my second watch through is when I caught it.
Yep.
Is that girl from Class B wanted to buy her way into Class A.
They do show you can get it for 20 million.
They do show it because
They
I know
do show it, but it's
her
literally
phone was saying that she had that many points.
she had 2 million or she
Oh,
had 1.6 million.
Oh shit! I think it was 2 million. Or did you say 20 million to get in?
20 million to jump to Class A.
Jesus.
And the most anybody has ever gotten was 15 million. And he was using a scheme to steal points from first year students.
Okay.
So
Did they go into it or they just left that vague?
No, they just left it vague. Basically, he was tricking first year students into giving him points, and that's
Still
how
wasn't even enough.
it still wasn't 15 million.
Interesting.
The anime does show that you can, but it's one of those things where it's like, I think it's one of the cut scenes between part 1 and part 2 of the episode, and it's literally like a glimpse and it's gone. I only know that because I listened to this part and then I'm like, wait, 20 million points. So they show it, but they don't talk about it at all.
Right. Okay.
So, yep, 20 million points to jump to Class A. The reason why clubs are very important is you get personal points and class points for clubs.
Okay.
So if in Pseudo's case, he's on the basketball team, they go to a tournament, they get a bunch of points for the tournament, class points.
Interesting. Okay, so that's very supportive to everybody. Just keep him on that basketball team.
Yep.
Okay.
Part of the reasoning to have him for them to try so hard to keep him around.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. This is a big reason why not to let anybody get expelled because, or suiho sarete, because the more people you have in your class, the more opportunity you have to get points.
Correct.
Okay.
And teachers actually get bonuses for graduating classes.
Makes sense. Makes sense, but that first month of our homeroom teacher, she's like, you guys fucking suck. You're all a bunch of losers. Like, no encouragement of any sorts. Like, she's going to get a bonus and she's not going to get a bonus and she obviously doesn't care if they pass or fail because she's leading the D class. So,
but she does care.
She does.
Because she wants them to be a part of Class A. She wants them to be Class A.
Right. I mean, she's a hard ass and she needs to be that hard ass.
Yep.
Because, you got to fucking work your way for it. You got to work for it. That's clear.
Yes, absolutely. Ayana Koji was asked by Sakura to go to her room where they had the conversation to help her gain the confidence to speak out during the hearing. Okay, so that's where that incident happens, not in front of the electronics store. So that episode where they're going to get the camera fixed.
Yep.
And then they have the conversation because Kushida walks away. So that never actually happens.
I just feel like them talking wasn't that soon in front of the camera store. Like he caught on to stuff.
It was after they were kind of just enjoying the day. Kushida walked away for a little bit and then they were having the conversation and Ayana Koji was like, don't do this for Pseudo, do it for you.
Okay. Sounds a little familiar, I guess. Kind of went over my head, obviously.
Kushida pointed out that Sakura is an idol named Shizaku. I think is what they said her name was the idol. Stage name is Shizaku. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
And she actually did that in front of everybody in the class, not just Ayana Koji. So everybody in the class knows that she is an idol.
Really?
Yes.
So someone who is so scared of confrontation and exposing herself, she tells the class.
No, it wasn't Sakura that exposed her. It was Kushida that exposed her to the class.
Oh, yeah, because that happened in the bedroom where she was like, hey, do you recognize? Yeah. Actually, or was that Suzune? I'm pretty sure it was Kushida.
Yeah, it was Kushida.
But yeah, that was in the privacy of just between two people. Damn, in front of the whole class?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the whole class or if it was a bunch of people from the class, but even still, no, she
more
showed
than one.
She showed like all the guys from the class.
Oh man, how embarrassing.
Yeah. And Ayana Koji actually noticed the stalker remarks on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So he was just posting all these things, which makes more sense. All those posts were on Twitter, and Ayana Koji actually noticed it.
Okay. It definitely makes more sense why he was smart enough to like take pictures of the attempted rape scene.
That's something else I'll talk about.
Okay.
Ayana Koji is more dramatic when he tickled Suzune.
Okay.
Basically, he got up, he like raised his arms, and then dramatically put it on each of her sides.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he stood up, stood behind her, raised his arms up, and then just put on Suzune's side and started tickling her until she like got up and then started talking.
Okay, so it wasn't just a little bit. For our listeners, this was the scene where Suzune is just, she's scared shitless because her brother is in the same room as this whole deal is going down, and she's silent. And then Ayana Koji's like, well, you gotta
get her.
I forgot the word he used, but you gotta, if he tickles her, it'll wake her the fuck up.
Pretty much.
And he stands up, tickles her, makes basically a big scene if he's going to be sitting up like that. I mean, obviously it was a big scene was made because he's tickling her, but yeah, okay, that's interesting.
He makes it much more obvious of what's going on. Sakura actually brought pictures, not flash drives.
Okay, that's different, but I don't know what I would prefer because I do want to take a couple jabs at the flash drive and the slideshow per se.
Yeah.
When only that one exact photo was needed. But okay, but you're saying photos, so she still brought all those photos?
She brought the photos that you see because it shows where she's there. And then she brings like, I don't know, I think it's 4 photos. Basically the 4 photos that you see where it's...
Okay, but it was the random ones that have nothing to do with the fucking fight?
Yes and no, because it shows the reason why she's there, then the date and the timestamp.
I suppose. I guess that could make a more compelling case on, why she was there to begin with.
Yeah.
Sure.
Instead of just, here's the one photo I took of the fight, and I just happened to be here.
Yeah.
Sakura confronts the creepy guy from the electronics store because of her newfound confidence that she gained, basically thanks to Ayana Koji.
Okay.
So that's something that's different. And Ayana Koji, so the whole almost rape scene happens, and it is... if I remember correctly, so him and Ichinose are walking. They basically start acting like a couple, taking a bunch of pictures. And of course, they're taking pictures of what's going on. And then they confront the creepy dude. And they're like, we just got a bunch of pictures of you, what you're doing, you old man trying to do this to a girl and all this other. So basically, they're just confronting him and he's trying to deny it. And Ayana Koji gets up in his face and threatens him, saying he's going to beat the shit out of him and make him wish he never lived. And that's when the guy just leaves. Like, he just basically pisses himself and runs away.
After the rape scene?
Well, after the almost rape scene, but yes. So the cops aren't involved.
I was about to say, in the anime, cops were involved.
Yeah, there was no cops involved. But, they have the pictures, they have all the letters.
The supposed security camera in the distance.
I don't think they bring that up.
No.
But they have pictures of the incident happening on their phone, so they don't need any stupid surveillance cameras.
Right. Okay. Interesting enough. Obviously a big difference.
Yep.
Not big difference, but it's a difference.
Yeah, it's a difference. Sakura talked about that she was maybe going to stop wearing her glasses and change her hair.
I remember her kind of talking about not wearing her glasses.
Yeah.
But the hair comment, I don't remember much about the hair. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yep. And then the last thing that happens is the teacher told Suzune that she had fallen into Ayana Koji's trap. So that conversation happens, sort of.
The teacher admits that she falls into Ayana Koji's trap?
Not the teacher, but Suzune had fallen into Ayana Koji's trap.
Which trap specifically?
Basically, just everything.
Okay.
Like getting close to
Ayana
Koji.
Okay.
I think that conversation happens, but maybe I'm just meshing the two together.
I don't know. Does this have anything to do with that Icarus play that was going on?
No, that happens on the boat.
Huh?
The Icarus play? That's
before the boat.
Yeah, that is before the boat, but that's with Ayana Koji, isn't it?
Yeah, and the teacher?
Yeah. So this conversation is just between Suzune and the teacher.
Oh.
It's about Ayana Koji.
Oh, the only thing I'm remembering about the teacher and Suzune is learn from him because he's a lot smarter than he leads on, kind of thing. Like, that's basically what I took from it. But like the basic thing was learn from him if you're gonna do anything.
That was one conversation they had, but they had another conversation where she told Suzune that she was falling into his trap.
Okay. I don't remember anything about trap. That's interesting.
But that's the end of Volume 2. Then the start of Volume 3. While on the island, they go over everything you can buy with the points, the 300 points that they have. There's a shit ton of stuff you can buy with the points.
Do they go into detail about?
Yeah, they go into really in-depth detail. Showers, fishing rods with baits, meals. You can buy water.
They made mentions of those, yeah.
The heaters. Apparently, there's like a trench system that happens when you put a toilet in. It's a lot more to it than just here's a porta-john.
Interesting. You know what? I guess now that we talk about it, when they were talking about how you can buy an actual bath, like an actual toilet kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was instantly thinking like potential isekai video game-esque, like you buy it and it just boop, it's right there. And then it's just instantly functionable and blah, blah, blah.
Kind of, but no, there's...
But of course, we were still in the real world. Of course, I don't know how they would have had some people in the background install it, blah, blah, blah.
I think they said they weigh 100 kilograms. So these suckers are heavy.
Yeah, 100 kilos?
That's
like 220 pounds.
Yeah.
Damn.
They got some weight. And it's not just blue water. You find... I'm trying to think. The boys try a lot harder to convince the girls to use the toilets. The teacher goes into how the toilets work. I'm not going to go into it. It's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. They take roll twice a day. The toilet costs 20 points. Koenji didn't monkey through the forest. That's the only thing that's like the only way I could phrase it.
Best perfect way to say it. But that's interesting that you say that just in general. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
I like that the anime made Koenji just fucking Tarzan his way through the forest. Oh, man.
But he did basically sprint through the forest, but he didn't monkey through the forest.
Okay. I mean, if you want to bring this down to like realistic kind of stuff,
yeah,
of course, it's a little bit more impossible to do that. Okay. Interesting.
You mean having a 20-pack is also something that's realistic?
I don't know what you... I have a 14-pack. I don't. That's insane.
I have a 14-pack in the fridge. Ayano Koji noticed the dirt had been disturbed when they first met Ibuki.
Okay. I do remember a scene in the anime where...
She's basically sitting there next to the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So he notices that the dirt, like, it didn't look... It looked as if somebody had been messing with it, like digging.
Right.
He also noticed dirt under her fingernails when they first met her.
The fingernail thing was definitely not part of the anime. But they did make a moment in the anime where he went to go investigate something.
Yep.
And they never showed us what he did, but he explained it later on.
Yep.
So, combining or connecting the two things definitely made sense.
Yep.
But in the light novel, they made it clear that... Like, crystal clear, they made it that early on that he knew.
That he noticed something, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
They bought 2 tents for the boys. So now the girls have 2 tents, the boys have 2 tents, because they only gave them 2 tents to begin with.
2 tents total. Okay,
yes.
Interesting.
So they had to buy 2 more.
Okay, that's something that they never went into detail with in the anime.
No, and not important.
It's not important, but at the same time in the anime, you kind of just assume that plenty of living space was provided. I mean, if fake ass toiletries or the portable toilets were provided and stuff like that.
But they were cardboard, like water soluble toilets.
Something along those lines. I remember them saying that they had multiple uses, which sounds kind of gross, but
they go into it. Basically, there's these bags that go into them, and they're one-time use, and they absorb everything, and then you close it up and you put the next one on top of it and you get a couple out of it.
Oh, okay. I can see how that can work.
Yeah. I wasn't going to talk about that, but there we go. We talked about, we found a way to talk about poop. They talked about buying meals and water for each day. Plus they go into what else they could buy with the points. So they bought like fishing lures. They bought utensils. They bought the kind of necessities. The girls also bought a bunch of stuff that were not necessities.
Okay, funny.
That nobody knew about except for the girls and the class leader guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Yosuke?
Yeah, Yosuke.
Yosuke was... He was doing some leader activity stuff, but like he wasn't the registered leader.
So he was essentially like the most popular boy.
Yep.
So they kind of saw him as the leader. Kind of.
So who was in charge of the purchasing deals? Was it Suzune or was it
Basically anybody.
Okay.
So they collaborated to make sure that nobody was buying things you weren't supposed to buy. But if you just went to the teacher and like, hey, we're buying this, they bought that. Like, that's how it worked.
Sure.
There was no second guessing of anything. You were just buying the stuff if you wanted it, which is how it made more sense for Class C, where they were just buying everything.
Yep.
And I don't remember if they go into it or not, but Class C actually spent a lot of their points for Class A to give them everything that they had.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
So Class A didn't buy anything.
Interesting. Okay.
Class A lost 30 points. So they ended with 270 points.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Ayana Koji knew what happened because of the point totals. Actually, they don't go into that. So yeah, no. Class C spent basically those toilets, all the tents, everything was bought by Class C.
Okay.
Ayana Koji knew about the camera the first morning after Ibuki joined because he went through her stuff, like that first morning.
Oh, the camera, when he was explaining later on how he flooded it to destroy it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all their stuff was sitting outside the tents of everybody, essentially in a huddle, and hers looked different than everybody else's.
Okay.
Because it was just, she was a part of a different class. So,
yep.
Yeah, Ayana Koji went through her stuff that first morning that she was there. Then they found cultivated corn.
Okay. Is there purpose?
Basically, it shows that the teachers had been there, or people had been there previously, and everything was intentional.
Okay, yeah. Because they did make a comment, like it's almost like the stuff was implanted here before.
Yep.
But they're talking about all the massive amounts of fruits and stuff.
Yep.
Nothing about corn. That's interesting, though.
Yeah, they found corn.
So fucking strange. I don't know if it's because we're Westerners and corn's just
normal.
So fucking normal.
Yeah. It was just more food. And then there was a big incident because it was Suzaku and Ayana Koji that were like searching around for stuff. And Ayana Koji took his shirt off so that they could hold all the corn. And of course, when they come back, it's his two dumbass friends that Kanji and I think it's Sudo and who's the third one that they always hang around with? Because at this point, a bunch of them were not really falling for Suzaku, but they were like, well, she's got big boobs. I want to go out with her. So they were trying to like hit on her and stuff. And then, of course, Ayana Koji is walking around without a shirt on. So they got all like, hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be trying to make any moves on her. It's like, well, I'm not. How else was I going to hold all this corn? Just a couple more things. Ayana Koji found other areas to secure, like other plots, sections to secure other pseudo bases. So there were more than just a couple bases that they found.
Okay. So there was other unclaimed bases that looked like they were occupied?
Well, they didn't look occupied, but there were other unclaimed bases throughout the island.
Oh, I assumed that there was more than 4.
Yep. While he was looking at these unclaimed bases, he was confronted by some Class 1A members and was offered 100,000 points to sell out his leader. So
Ooh, interesting.
It's the same agreement that what's douche faces Ryuen,
the bald guy in Ryuen made it.
Yep. So it's that same deal, but for Ayana Koji. So they were offering it to pretty much anybody who they ran into.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
I like that bit of information is part of it. Like, I wish that was part of the anime. I know it's nothing, essentially. Like, it's meaningless fluff, but it's still interesting.
Well, it's not fluff because that is how Ayana Koji figured out what was going on in Class A.
Oh, because he was already familiar with this deal situation. He can put it on someone else. Like,
not that he could put it on someone else, but he figured out that there was a faction between the different groups in Class 1A.
Right.
You learn about the teacher's backstory. She actually graduated from the school.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And that she was a part of Class D as well.
What?
Yeah.
Now that's some interesting information. That's something that I would expect to come out of like a season 2 kind of stuff. So I wonder if that was actually season 2 information. But that is very interesting to know regardless. Okay, interesting.
And
how many more times can I say interesting?
her class was attempting to take over Class A, and she was the reason why it failed.
Oh, the teacher was the reason why they failed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And despite all that, now she's a teacher for the class itself, for the school itself.
Yep.
Okay.
And then at the end of Volume 3, Ayano Koji actually spends a good amount of time explaining everything. Like, he goes into more in-depth about how he figured everything out versus just this is how it happened.
Oh, okay.
And then the other really important thing is, when he goes through his like pseudo monologue and how he's telling Suzune that he's using her and he's going to use everybody else. Well, he actually tells her this while he's carrying her to essentially hand her over to be saved, essentially.
To the boat. Yeah.
So she is awake when this happens, and he is saying it out loud, but she's so out of it that she doesn't remember any of it.
I suppose that makes sense too, because if you're sick and exhausted, you can be in and out of consciousness, and I can see that working out.
Yep. And that's everything I got. So 3 volumes. I will say there are 14 volumes in total.
Is it concluded?
Yes. What I found is Year 1 series is 14 volume, and then Year 2 series started in September of 22, and it has 8 volumes.
Oh, god damn, that's a lot of info. Okay. So okay, so I know we're late in the game at this point.
Yes, we are very late in the game.
And we are currently airing season 3 of the anime. And you're covering this in your short flights, which we'll talk about again in the future. But is it going to be too much of a spoiler to say is season 3 still in year 1?
No, it's still in year 1.
Wow. That's so crazy. So this show can go on for fucking ever at this point.
Kind of, yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, they haven't had their second exam yet. No.
Okay. We can talk about that much later.
Yep.
I'm just very interested. I guess I was just imagining that.
Look at My Hero Academia.
We're 8 seasons plus going on.
They're still in the first year. Yeah, they are.
Oh my god, is this still the first year? This is the first year. Wow.
They're still the first year.
Okay, wow. I didn't even think about that. If My Hero is this fucking deep in, this many years into it, are they just gonna straight up skip the last couple of years and just go straight into how I became an official hero? I don't know. Are they just turn into the next One Piece?
No, it won't turn into One Piece. I think the creator, we're going to go off on a tangent at this point. The creator, I'm pretty sure, has said they're working towards an end. I know it's in the last, it's not the last arc, but it's greater than an arc, if that makes sense. So there's something that's longer than an arc, but like there's a step beyond an arc.
A season?
Not a season. So it's a part of a story. So you have like almost, how you've got mini arcs. Like in Yu Yu Hakusho, you have the Saint Beast arc.
Yeah.
So you'll have that section, and then you'll have like it's essentially what would be considered like 2 or 3 arcs worth of story, but it's all one story instead of an up and a down and up and a down. So it's just a very long arc is essentially what I'm thinking of, and that's what this section is right now.
Okay.
So.
And that's fair enough. I mean, you would almost imagine in most anime be like, that's a story in itself.
Kind of.
But in all reality, in the grand scope of things, that is just one big arc.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
It's a way of writing without having to have a bunch of little arcs together.
Sure.
Essentially. So yeah, that's what My Hero Academia is going on, is the final one of those. I want to say, is Chainsaw Man the same way? I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road because I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate anything.
I don't know. Chainsaw Man is still relatively new, so...
But it's not, and that's the crazy part. So like Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, those two actually came out together, like at the same time.
Okay.
And then I think My Hero might have come out around the same time. Like there's a bunch of really good Jujutsu I think it might have been Jujutsu, Hell's Paradise, and Chainsaw Man.
What about Kaiju Solo Leveling? I mean, was it a really
Solo Leveling is kind of older, like to be completely honest.
Okay.
Because I want to say it started out as a webtoon. Yeah, I think it started out as a webtoon.
That sounds familiar. Okay, yep.
So a little bit different, but I want to say those 3 came out almost like the same group of seasons. And Hell's Paradise is concluded. Jujutsu's in its final stage, I think. And I don't know about Chainsaw because I am not reading that one. But Jujutsu's definitely working towards something.
Okay, interesting.
So is My Hero. But yeah, because I am reading that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about this at the end of our episodes, what we're watching on the side for how much anime we're watching. You're still staying up to date on a bunch of manga too.
Not as much just because of school and then this. It's been kind of hard to read a bunch of stuff. I did start Freyren. I'm a couple chapters into that one. Let's save that for later because we can say that for later. Let's get back into Classroom of the Elite. Yeah, I really liked this series. What did you think of it, Lance? Because I know it was on your queue. I know I talked about it a handful of times, and we're on season 3 at this point, and you hadn't watched it.
And that's because of everything you just said right there. That's the reason why it's on my queue. It's been around. There's multiple seasons, and you were super interested in season 3. So I'm like, I know absolutely nothing about this show. I added it to my liked list, my watch list on something to watch relatively soon. And then you're like, well, let's just cover season 1. I'm like, perfect. I wanted to watch this anyway, so let's get this done.
Yeah, I think that was why I suggested it, because you had been watching a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if he's going to watch this. Like, it might be a while. I was a little unsure when you were ever going to get to this.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. This is, obviously I'm a shonen guy at heart. And this is a little bit off to the side, like this is whatever. But this was on my eventual list. So
yes. Slice of life is not, I don't want to say it's not your forte, but you definitely aren't like, let me watch this slice of life.
Yeah, it's also because when it comes to anime, I do the bulk, or at least used to. I used to do the bulk of my anime when I'm working out. So like I want that action and intensity to keep pushing me to do more in my workout. I'm like, I'm fucking feeling this. Yeah, it's pumping me up. So like when you watch Slice of Life, like,
yes, I completely understand.
When I want to get that fucking 10th rep in, like push me. But no. Okay, so it's totally different vibe. So yeah, it's different. But I'm glad we went down this route because yes, obviously it was something I wanted to watch, and perfect excuse.
I will say the suspensefulness kind of distracted me sometimes when I would try to work out. Be like, oh shit, what's going on? I can't miss this, because there was so many little details that happen that it could be very easy to miss.
Yep. And it definitely helps with rewatching this a couple times, and I'm glad that I have the option to at least re-listen multiple times, so I can at least say more familiar than the casual watcher, at least.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because now that I'm on season 3, there are characters that you see in season 1, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's great. I'm enjoying this because I recognize these characters, and they're not introduced in season 1. They're there, but they
have like no major scenes at all.
They don't do anything. Like, they don't do anything as far as progress for the story.
Right.
They're just a part of the story.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, because something we talked about earlier in this episode is there's 25 kids per class per grade.
Yep.
So there's 100 kids per year, essentially. And that's a shit ton of fucking characters to just randomly introduce in an anime.
Yeah.
To animate potentially 300 different students, of course you're not going to do that. But still, just that idea. And just your class alone, 25. Jeez.
Yeah,
to give them all an arc of importance so that you can actually remember who's who, that's crazy.
Really good writing.
Yeah, it needs to be. If I were to write a book, that's way too much work.
Yeah, that's
25 characters alone is too much, and then we're doing multiple classes in years.
I mean, there's still characters that we really don't know about. To be completely honest, even in Class D, we know almost nothing about.
Right. Because, I didn't count it out, but everybody can probably assume maybe 5 characters that they can name off the top of their head who have some importance. And then if you watch it a couple times, maybe 7 or 8. But still, you only know a fraction of this class.
And that's being very nice about it. I'm also super terrible with names, so that's kind of cheating.
That is also the very hard part about this. Is like these names are very, very Japanese, and it's hard to keep in line with who's fucking who.
And not literally.
Oh, but yes. Not literally, but who the fuck is who? There, how about that?
And then to make it even worse is sometimes they'll say their last name, most of the time they say their first name, but I'm listening to the light novel, so they only use their last names. So I'm like, oh my God, who is who?
Yep.
And of course, I am trying to pay attention to work. So if Yamauchi, he is the three idiots of the class. He's one of the perverts of the class. You could put it that way.
Okay.
And like, if you look him up, he's grayed out. Like, he's just a white character. He's a white character on fandom.
Oh, so in the anime, he's not even relevant.
He has done nothing in the anime.
Interesting.
So it's very easy to, but so is Kanji, he's the one that's crying in the bathroom.
Ike,
yeah.
Yeah, he's got more, he does have relevance in the anime.
He does have relevance in the anime. He is also one of the other perverts in the class.
Oh, he's a major pervert.
He's super pervert. Yep. So,
okay, and speaking of pervert, you just want to jump into a topic that I have purely revolved around the pervert topic.
Okay.
So we're going to go to the throwaway episode, like episode 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there, when they're all going to the pool after, it's during their like summer vacation. I think that's start of their break.
6? Is that episode 6? Because it's before they go on to the cruise, which is episode 8.
Oh, that's episode 8?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's probably 7. It's literally like the episode before. It's fan service episode.
It is the fan service episode.
If I'm sure everyone remembers, it's the one where the boys are trying to put cameras in the girls' locker room.
Yep, the pervert episode.
100% pervert. Almost zero importance in the actual series itself, but it's just there's a little bit of character development that goes on. That's all you can take away from it. Almost nothing. If I
remember correctly, that is not in the light novel. Like, that entire episode is not in the light novel.
That'd be nice.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Give a perk to the light novel about being mature or something, but
granted, they're talking about who has the biggest boob size. The three perverts are like, I like this girl because she has the biggest boobs. I want to. Basically, it's all boobs is what they talk about. So
understandable. But to go on where the pervert route I was going to go on was when I was re-listening to this entire episode.
Yep.
I'm at work. I'm just listening to it, not watching it.
Yep.
And then I'm hearing their voices, and then all of a sudden I hear Senku talking. I'm like, Senku from Dr. Stone.
Yep.
I'm like, fucking Senku, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden I hear Chrome start talking, and they're having a conversation with each other. And I'm having a real good time with this because Aaron Dismuke, voice actor for Senku.
Yep.
And
which we were able to get his autograph at Colossal Con. That was a fun time.
Dude, that dude is beyond nice. That is the nicest dude I've ever came in contact with. That could be a conversation for later, for when we talk about Dr. Stone Season 3.
Okay.
But dude's amazing. And then Matt Shipman, who plays the voice actor for Chrome. I only bring this up because when they're doing like Argos 1 to Argos 2 and whatever, blah, 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 when they're on the radios.
Yep.
And they're having that conversation over the radio about getting these cameras set up. I'm like, oh, I cannot get Senku and Chrome out of my mind when these two are talking, because this is one for one so goddamn perfect. And it's all because of hentai, pervert shit. So it's...
I mean, yes. This show is absolutely the king of anime angles. The weird, like, we're going to be far away and we're just going to have an upshot at basically the girl's backside and the guy's standing on the other side. There's no reason why we have an up angle, but this is the angle we have. You don't see anything, but it's...
Oh my God, you said up angles.
Yes, up angle. Yes.
I thought you said ankles.
No, angle.
I was wondering why the hell you were talking about anime ankles.
Yes. Show them ankles.
Maybe ankle shots, like ankle camera angles. Okay.
Yes.
Now that makes so much more sense. Yes. Camera angles.
Yes.
They got the angles. Okay. Sorry. But the angles were fucking everywhere in this one.
All over the place. Just what weird angle can we show off butt or boobs in? And that's what we're going to do. That
and some slow motion boob jigglage.
Yep.
There's plenty of those.
But plenty of apps. You get lots of shirtless dudes in this show, too.
Yep, that too. There's plenty of scenes.
Because Koenji almost never wears a shirt. So,
right.
Granted, if I had a 20-pack, I would never wear a shirt either.
100%. Back when I was in the best shape of my life, I never wore a shirt. Sticking on Koenji. This is one of our basic conversations, favorite characters.
Okay.
I was trying to think about this.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite character in season 1 because there's just so many fucking characters.
There are a lot.
But I'm going to throw Koenji. And for everybody who doesn't remember, Koenji is the long-haired blonde who's just too beautiful for everything. And the monkey man that was jumping through the forest. I'm going to choose him as one of my favorites right now because dude's in perfect shape. He gives zero fucks about anything. And he's just there to live life to the best. He's smart. And he's physically active.
Yes.
Like, he's perfect in a lot of ways, and he kind of knows it. And I don't like him for bitching out on the island scene.
That's
like,
too much.
faking his sickness so that he can just go fucking chill on the boat for a couple days.
He could suntan for 5 days.
Yeah. Like, I don't respect him for that. I understand. Like, I understand why he would, but that's not the personality that I would ever choose. I just kind of like who he is after that.
Okay.
I don't know. Take the negatives out of it. I like his positives.
Okay.
Also, not walking around the boat being an asshole, soaping wet.
Wearing a Speedo all the time.
Also, not wearing a Speedo. You know, I don't have that kind of confidence.
Yeah, he's ultimate confidence. That's right there. Do you remember why essentially he was the way he is? Especially with class, why he doesn't give a shit about class?
I don't know. Where are you going with this?
Just do you remember what he was walking into in life?
I don't think so.
So his family is like this super conglomerate. So he's walking into their family, like a family business. So he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Oh, so he doesn't care to begin with.
Yeah, he gives zero fucks about anything because he knows he's got life handed to him.
Right. So if he gets class A, awesome. If he gets expelled, awesome.
I think expelled is the line, but class D doesn't matter. Class A doesn't matter. Literally all he has to do, graduate.
Okay.
And he's got his life handed to him.
You know, I don't think they made a mention of that in the anime.
I think they do, but it's in the very beginning, like when they're introducing themselves. So it's going to be very quick.
Okay, yeah. In the beginning, you're fucking tsunami of information. Nothing, so much of that's not going to stick.
Yes, you're trying very hard to be like, okay, who's this person? All right, who's this person? They also do go into the characters that dyed their hair versus had natural hair.
Really?
In the light novel.
Okay, that's interesting.
They have to do that because then you get an idea of what the characters look like. And so one of them was like, oh, this person has dyed, I think it's pseudo, where they're like, oh yeah, he's got dyed red hair.
Bright red.
Yeah. So just to give visual representation of who the character's hair. And I think Koenji has dyed blonde hair.
Yeah. I mean, unless he's European.
Which I don't think he is.
No.
Not with Renosuke as his name.
Oh yeah, definitely no. No, that's Japanese as fuck. No. Okay, that's very interesting though.
Yes.
So Matt, you have a favorite character out of season 1?
Oh man, there's so many fucking characters. It's so hard.
It's so hard. There's so many. But yeah, season 1. Do you have one to narrow in on?
It's so hard to keep them straight, let alone try to pick a favorite character. And it's not Suzune. She is a good character, but she's definitely not my favorite character. Like,
yep, I feel you on that one, and I can throw an opinion in after you claim a character.
I don't want to say Ayana Koji, but I kind of do, because I think the light novel made his personality so much different than, like, if it was just for the anime, I would say Ayana Koji, but because of his personality in the light novel, he's not my favorite character.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because he's a lot more intimidating in the anime than he is in the light novel.
Okay, yep. You were saying that.
It is so hard to choose a favorite character. I really don't have one, to be completely honest.
No, that's how I felt. So there was 2 characters that I was like, I kind of like where this person was going. I kind of like where this person was going. And I kind of did like a roulette thing. I just fucking chose one. And I'm going to go with him. Say what I liked, and that's where I'm going to.
There's some people that I like better because of season 2, but I hate their personality in season 1. Oh, man.
Okay, well.
Yeah, no,
for my sake,
have nobody. Nobody.
Okay, well, if you're going to go that route, then let's just talk about a couple of the key characters in season 1.
Okay.
So, Kikyo Kushida, the bubbly girl. Let's just talk
about
her.
Split personality, yes.
She is so goddamn important in season 1.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on her?
She is a psychopath, and I kind of want to say she's like your atypical popular girl in high school.
Plus. Yeah, a little extra on top of that.
Super extra, And then always just talking shit about everybody else when they're not with those people. That's what I feel. That's what I feel like her personality is.
Oh, I mean, she's definitely talking shit to herself. She's judging everybody. That's for sure.
Absolutely judging everybody. And I really want to know more about her. I will say, without giving anything away, we do find out more about her in season 2.
Okay. That's what I'm hardcore interested in. Is Kikyo is very interesting because obviously she had that personality switch. She goes from super bubbly to super serious.
Yep.
I'm almost interested in if the voice actor is different in itself. I would imagine it's the same, but
I guarantee you it's the same. I bet you whoever was her voice actress was able to swap between the two.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it'd be really weird to have 2 voice actresses for the same character.
For one line, really?
For very, very minute lines. Yeah, exactly. So it's stupid to do that, but she's still interesting enough. I want to know a bit of a backstory on why she might be like this because she seems to be very psychologically dependent on just being accepted to some degree. Traumatized. Yeah, that's very true. And, the way a lot of these younger animes go, where there's basically a harem feel going on, which is, we can pull the whole harem crew towards Ayano Koji, talk about all that. But Kushida definitely has that feel where there was like two times where she was about to ask if he's interested in her.
So in the light novel, she says he is the type of person she hates the most.
Oh, interesting.
So she basically despises is the wrong way to say it, but at least in the light novel, they portray it as if they would never get together.
Okay, that's very interesting because they definitely made us feel like she was interested in him. Especially after being like, hey, who are you interested in? Are you interested in someone like Suzune?
Because she wants to know, she wants everything she can use against him that she can. And she hates Suzune.
Yep.
So anything that makes Suzune happy, she's going to want to try and make sure that doesn't happen. Also, because Ayano Koji knows essentially her secret, she is keeping an extra close eye on him. So the easiest way to make it seem that she would want to be close to him is by having an attraction towards him.
Right. I can see that. It's interesting because the anime makes it hardcore that It looks like she's jealous to the extreme, especially at the point where they're on the boat. And she's like, hey, ever since that moment happened, you've been feeling distant. Yeah. And she's sitting there holding him from behind.
Yeah, and he's just kind of taking it.
Yeah. So Kikyo Kushida, she's interesting.
Would you say you're the most interested in her? Like if you had to rank them?
Originally, when I was talking about I didn't know who to choose from. She was like in the top 3 that I was most interested in. And that's because she's like crazy at this point.
Yes.
So she goes from bubbly to psycho in an instant like that. And then when you go from psycho back to bubbly, acting like nothing happened, that's pure psycho. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm interested in that. I want to know what the hell she's up with.
Okay. Yep. What about number 2? So we'll say she's number 1. What about number 2? Who are you most interested in? Or who do you want to know more about?
Sticking within Class D.
Okay.
Even above Kikyo Kushida, I'm obviously very, very interested in Ayano Koji. And that is strictly based on his childhood, his bring up. We saw in all those flashbacks that he was like some kind of like experimental child, and to some degree that we have no idea what's going on. Yep. But like we assume he's smarter than everyone else. We know throughout the series that he's very purposefully getting half graded, 50% on all his shit. Yep. And he's very calculated on everything. He's doing everything very specifically. He's also making plans to give other people credit on all of his ideas. Whatever. He's very manipulative on every aspect and very, very, very interested on just his background in general.
Okay. Yep. I would definitely agree with that one.
Did the light novel also tap into his like childhood stuff? Like, was anything different with that compared to the anime, or
not really? Honestly, they put even less into his childhood than we basically know nothing.
Oh, really?
The only time they talk about his childhood is when Suzune essentially tries to pry a little bit. And he was like, don't ever fucking try and talk about mine.
Right. They made that comment in the anime, and it was super hardcore.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So we know almost nothing as far as the light novel is concerned.
Interesting.
I will say, as far as somebody that's super interesting, only because of one scene, and it is the girl from Class 1B.
Like the main girl from Class B?
Ichinose, because she has 1.2 million points.
Okay, so the most important one from Class B from season 1 that everyone...
Yes.
Yeah, the cute, popular one that was trying to run away from getting a love letter from another girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Very, very, very interested in her as well, because obviously she's the most important one out of that class.
And how in a couple months did you get 1 million plus points?
Ooh, yeah, good point. Because it's not like they're Class A who've gotten 100,000 per month.
Well, even 100,000 per month in 3 months doesn't give you a million.
Exactly. Very interesting. Okay, so what the hell is she doing?
Yes.
Oh, I wonder if she's getting money from teachers, or because it's not like she can be siphoning all that money from students in general. I mean, she probably is.
She
point
could
blank.
be. Yeah.
So that's got to be expected, but she's playing the system somehow.
Yep.
I wonder. Yeah, she's obviously one of the top 2 or 3 most interesting characters because 1, she's rich as fuck. 2, she's trying to buy her way into Class A. And she's super nice.
But that's really all
What's
we know.
going on? Yeah.
Like, we know nothing as far as season 1 is concerned.
Right. As far as season 1 is concerned, she's just this awesome, pure-hearted girl. And
that's got a bunch of points.
Yep.
That's it. There you go. That's her personality right there. So I would, if I had to pick one, only for the pure unknown, that's probably who my favorite character would be.
I agree.
Because she's just the most intriguing of all of our characters so far. Besides the obvious Ayana Koji, and I guess you could kind of say Suzune is super intriguing.
Let's talk about Suzune a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
As far as like tropes go, that hard-ass, super smart, super serious girl.
Yep.
I absolutely hated her in the first like 3 episodes. I'm like, your trope is pissing me off so much. But then she started to break down and get a little bit realistic. We started learning more about her, and I started to appreciate her more afterwards. But she's still very interesting. She wants to prove to her brother that she's worth it. She can get to Class A if she works hard, and that's her goal. And I appreciate that.
Yep.
And that's kind of as far as I can go. Like, like if we want to talk about the island was definitely my favorite arc out of all of this. Everything else was
world building, essentially.
World building. I was going to say subpar, like boring, whatever, because compared to the island was just so interesting. I loved every part of every single moment of the island.
Yes.
Because I don't want to diminish the rest of the series. But the island was very interesting. And when Suzune had those little hints about her sleeping in her room when she was actually sick, she was trying to fight this off. And she was still trying to be a hard ass. And she admitted that when it came to like the camping and nature walking stuff, like that wasn't her. Yeah. Like she's school smart and maybe a little bit of street smart, but she's not survival in the forest smart. So I thought that was a very interesting twist and something you don't see in any other anime. So the island scene in this anime is what closed it for me for being like a good anime. I loved it. I loved it so much. But I guess what I'm trying to get at, it was when Suzune eventually fell victim to her illness. Yep. And Ayana Koji brought her to the boat and disqualified her, basically. Fucking called it immediately right there that because Suzune is no longer going to be like in the scene. Yep. That like her
leadership, essentially.
Her leadership, like her role as being the leader is going to get disqualified. And that's going to be like a good reason on why to switch leaders. Yep. I'm like, that's exactly what's going to happen. Everyone else is going to guess that it's her, especially the spy from Class C. Yep. And all that stuff. Like, I fucking called it immediately, and I was
Did you think it was going to be Ayana Koji?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100% I knew it was going to be him. Like, okay. Because he's supposed to be the super smart guy. Whatever. So, I was just very pleased with myself to catch that, like, immediately. Like, I thought that was too obvious. So, I wonder what other people thought, too. Like, was that just something that just went over their heads, or
did I want to say it went over my head the first time.
It did?
Okay. The first time through, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I caught it immediately. I was sitting there watching, like, I know exactly. All right. Okay, anyway, not to kick a dead horse, but
Yep.
I was, I don't know where to go else from there. Like, I just wanted to get to that point where I was proud of myself for calling that out.
Well, good for you, Lance.
Yes. I need a gold medal.
I don't have those. I do have stars.
Oh, yeah. I want one of your child stars.
Perfect. I will say for me personally, the thing that drew me in the most was honestly the Kushida moment. That Kushida twist.
Yep.
That was probably the scene that really pulled me into the series.
100% agree. Because at that rate, anything before that was just world building for the school.
Yep.
Yes, things were interesting, but characters were pretty blah at that point.
A lot of bubbly characters, a lot of fan service, and you're just like, okay,
a lot of cliches.
Yep, you're just kind of like, well, is that gonna be what this is?
Right.
And then you get that, and I'm like, okay, all right. And then Ayano Koji his twisted personality starts showing up a lot more. Yep. Just the kind of blank stare where it's like, what the fuck is going on right now? So the Kushida scene really kind of reeled you in, and then the survival exam kind of stuck it to you.
Yeah, it's what truly solidified the series for me.
Okay.
If it wasn't for that island scene, I probably wouldn't have cared for this season, for the series in general. Yep. I could play along with how things could have played out, but that, I don't know, I kind of like that survival kind of aspect, and
gives a lot more suspense to the series so far.
Yeah. I was totally on board with that. Kind of reminded me of the Tomogachi game series.
Okay. Yep.
So I liked that.
Another aspect that I liked about the series was everything happened, and then they gave you the explanation of how it happened.
Yep, that was very interesting. Except for one moment.
Okay.
One moment pissed me off. It was the end of episode 2 or 3 or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, everybody passed the midterm and happy-go-lucky at the end of the series. And the very beginning of the next episode is like, oh yeah, psych, one of you failed. I'm like, that is not what you said happened. And then they were doing backstory kind of stuff. And even the backstory stuff didn't match with what they were saying. It was just a little bit of anime logic. Okay. For, just to keep the audience drawn in. But it didn't add up correctly. So that's my only nitpick on that point, but I understand.
They just had to give us extra fan service, so they couldn't have the, but he failed at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's just cheap twist that they took. Yeah. And it's fine. Again, if this is going to be a week by week kind of watch, you wouldn't really pick up on it that well, but binging it, instantly recognize it. So I guess that's the pros and cons of binging.
Yeah. As a very latecomer to the series, is this something you're going to tell people to watch? Would you recommend this to other people? Obviously, because I've been trying to get you to watch it, I do recommend it to you and to other people. But what about you? How would you go about this series? I
would say this would be a really strong anime for a new anime watcher.
Okay. That's okay with fan service.
That's okay with fan service. That's a caveat that you have to throw in there. But I was going to say, someone who's not too used to all the cliche stereotypes of just character types, just whatever, because those are very prevalent in everybody. That's whatever. But when it comes to psychological thrillers, this stands out on being very good and being very eventful and inventive on just random ass situations. It keeps you on your toes. It makes you want, and for all you guys who are not Midwesterners, I said toes. If you're going to make fun of my toes, that's funny. Anyway, if it keeps you guessing, and it keeps you want to be right on some things, kind of like how I was saying, I called that switching the leadership role was going to be a thing, and I was right. So I was super proud of that. So, and that's just being an experienced anime watcher. So that's, maybe I have a perk on my side for that. Anyway, for a newbie, yes, this is 100% it. Okay. It's kind of like comparing it to Death Note. Being a semi-new anime watcher, watching Death Note, you're like, this is psychological thriller. Yep. Yeah, a lot of smart talk going on. So you're like, ooh, yeah, that's a good point. And you're trying to weave your way through all of these impossibilities. It's just really fun to watch essentially anime logic happen. But whatever. This is a solid show. Yep. And even if you are an older person, this is still good because it's still fun to watch these psychological thrillers. Just in general, it's kind of like your true crime shows.
Yep.
It's just fun to watch smart people do their thing.
Be smart people.
Yeah. I only have one strong issue with this.
Okay.
Is I wish these were college students and not high school students.
Okay.
So I know in the West, it's much more different than Japan and in the East.
Yep.
Don't fucking care about high schoolers. Also, it's very creepy high schoolers in the West. Let's just make these actual adults. If that was the only difference, then fuck yeah, this would be so much more better. Also, because these guys are so goddamn smart.
Yep.
Their character designs are way too mature for an actual high schooler. Especially when we're talking about that Class A guy who's fucking bald as fuck and he looks like he's already in his 30s.
Oh, yeah. That. Oh, man. You just sound like an old guy right there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to kick a dead horse like we always do, but like I love the story. I just wish the characters were just a little bit older and mature.
Okay.
Because the story could still play out perfectly if they were college students, because the end goal could be getting any job that they want. So the same thing is, I think it's translatable. So I would have appreciated a little bit more if they were more mature.
Okay.
It's basically there.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I really enjoyed it. The fan service did get a little much, especially at certain times. I just kind of think it's whatever. So,
I mean, at this point in our lives, we're so numb to everything as it is. It's whatever. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yep. So that's kind of what it is. I enjoy the story a lot.
The story is very good. I'm very much invested on the story itself. Koji's so goddamn interesting. I just want to know his history. And
then I think like all the characters have really crazy eyes. Like their eyes are super cool. So the drawings of all the characters I really enjoy. And that's kind of what drew me in, because it's very anime-esque on every single one of their eyes.
Yep.
So just what helped draw me into the series was just all the character designs.
Yeah. Everybody does have a uniqueness to them too. So you got to give mad props to the animators who can actually do that.
You can't Yu-Gi-Oh! This.
Yeah, you can't have like 100 basic ass gray faces out in the field and have one super colorful face.
Yeah. You would have no idea if you tried watching this series.
Right. Everybody is pretty, you can point everybody out. And I'd be very interested at the end of like season 10, you can go back to season 1 and be like, oh, dude, that guy's not going to be relevant until like season 8.
You mean like what I did where I was like, oh shit, there's that person that I see now. We finally understand who they are in season 3.
Right? Yeah, just stuff like that. Ooh, looking through this character list.
Yes.
Confirm. Yeah, fucking Albert. In Class C.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's him. The big...
Albert Yamada?
Yeah, the big dark motherfucker. Like the fucking bodybuilder.
That's not who you're talking about as far as the old guy, because the old guy is from Class 1A.
The old guy?
The guy who looks like he's 40.
Are we talking about the dude who was the bodyguard?
No, that's Yamada. That's Albert Yamada.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
I'm talking about the guy from 1A who looks like he's 40.
The bald guy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's a whole different thing too. I just wanted to bring attention to Albert, the bodyguard.
Yep.
Dude's been looking like he's been working out for 30 plus years. Just fucking jacked. Bodyguard. He's a high schooler. And he's the best bouncer you've ever fucking seen. Just beating people up. Straight out of the mafia kind of shit.
Okay. Yep.
Another nitpicking on where he belongs in the scales of his years. Maybe he should be a college plus guy. But anyway. Nitpicking. Sorry.
Dude looks like he's 25 playing like professional football or something, but
Yeah. What job is he going for that he wants to secure?
Professional bodyguard for the Yakuza.
Yep. Pretty sure you don't need this college degree to get part of the Yakuza, but...
Very good resume builder.
Before we get too carried away, I do have a couple notes that I had that I want to talk about. In episode 1, they were talking about how everyone was allotted 100,000 yen.
Okay.
And that for every American out there, that equivalates to $675.07.
Okay.
So as a high schooler, giving $675 up front to just do what you please.
But you don't have to pay for room and board. You don't have transportation. It's literally just, here's $675 of money. Here you go.
Go feed yourself. Go entertain yourself.
Yes.
Essentially, that's what it is.
Yep.
And if it makes a difference, $1 is 148 yen.
As of the day you looked it up. It'll fluctuate
as of this
bit.
week. Yeah. So we'll see what the future says. But you can basically assume that $1 is 150 yen. So it's 1.5%.
Yep.
So if you ever want to do any kind of math on that. One thing that I did nitpick on.
Okay.
In episode 1, they handed out a rule book.
Yep.
And then after that, they claimed to know nothing about rules. Like, period. Like, it was very annoying to be like, you were handed a rule book, so why does nobody know anything about anything?
You also have to think of it in the eyes of a 15-year-old. Did you look at any of the syllabuses that you got when you were in high school?
Never.
All right.
Syllabuses meant absolutely nothing to me until I got to college.
And they're like, you did not read your syllabus? This tells you everything you need to know. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no. So you're looking at it through the eyes of an adult.
Yeah, I was about to say an adult, yes.
Not the eyes of a 15-year-old who's like, you just gave me 100,000 yen. Fuck off. I don't care what you have to say.
Right. So it's all on them.
Yep.
Because I just want to make that very obvious. They were handed rules on day 1 and nobody ever references them.
Yes.
So I'm very curious on like season 2 plus if they're ever going to be like, hey, are we going to get these rules? Like, oh, you were handed the rules. All of you dumb fucks threw them away. So that's your fault.
One thing, this is probably more obvious in the light novel than in the anime. Their complaint is essentially the teacher never explains anything to them and never tells them anything. So that's their issue. Not the fact that they didn't read the rule book. It's that they didn't get told about the test. They didn't get told about the island. Anytime anything happens, the teacher has the knowledge and she doesn't give it to them. And that's their issue.
Right. Because things weren't handed to them, that's when they have an issue.
Yeah, but when all the other teachers are handing everything to their students.
Oh, other teachers are being more generous.
Being good teachers. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. One other moment in this anime I had a strong issue with.
Okay.
Was the sound effects when they were getting fucking massages and how fucking wet everything was. It was like these are teenagers getting massaged. It doesn't need to be so
the massage
excessive.
The massage doesn't happen in the light novel.
No? Okay.
No.
Doesn't need to be there.
It really doesn't.
Like, massages are amazing, yes, but the sound effects were very, very strong, especially for me who are listening to everything with headphones in my ears so I can hear everything clearly.
Yeah, the second time through when I watched this, I was like, oh yeah, this scene's here.
Very weird. Yep.
It's like, oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, so I was very uncomfortable. I'm glad no one was around when I was watching that. Some other things that after multiple times watching, Aina Koji is the one who started the fire.
Yes.
On the island, and that's why that scene where that spy was very shocked and like, oh well, she clearly didn't start the fire because she looks like she didn't start it. Like, that's because they explained at the end of the season that Aina Koji is the one that started it because he's the fucking asshole. Like, dude, he's a huge fucking asshole at the end of the season. Like, he is so manipulative and such an asshole. Whatever.
Well, he's always that way, but
he's always that way. But like,
it's more obvious when they make it obvious.
So much more obvious. Yeah. So I thought that blew my mind when it was clear that he was the one that started the fire.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a point there?
No.
Oh,
I just wanted to make that clear that he was the one that started the fire, just for any casual listeners that are out there.
Yeah, Aina Koji's an asshole and he's an arsonist.
Yeah, so that's an arsonist. Yeah, so the spy, she was doing bad stuff. She was the one that was there to take the passport, not the passport, but the leader card. She wanted to play the spy role. Like, she was doing bad things. Aina Koji was doing one step above that, playing on her bad role to make things bad. He's doing bad things to do good things, essentially. Like, it was very interesting.
She was only doing that to get the leader of Class D.
Right.
I wouldn't say that was good.
Well, for her sake. Oh, are you talking about what I'm saying for Aina Koji?
No, not Aina Koji. For
No, okay. What I was saying was Ian Koji was willing to put his own teammates into bad situations to expose her and also make Class D elevate. So like he was using evil to do good.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I mean, the end result got everybody what they wanted.
Right.
And some.
Yeah. It was very good.
Yeah.
But it was in a bad way, which now at the end of season 1 makes us think differently about him. So I guess that's kind of where I'm getting at.
Yes. It's one of those things where does the means fit the end? Is that the phrase?
Yes, but you said that completely.
Does
the ends justify the means?
Yeah. Yes. So, and that is something I really like about this series because it's like, kind of.
It does.
Kind of.
In a very aggressive way. Yeah.
Yes, because the problem is what is the alternative?
Losing.
And then if you lose, you essentially get kicked out of school or you don't move up.
Right. He understands the cutthroat kind of stuff, and he's emotionalist to do so. So
he's taking a real world approach to it.
He's very interesting in that aspect.
Yeah, I can't wait for season 2 to watch season 2 again.
In your case, to rewatch season 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you?
I am very interested in myself because this left off on an interesting note.
Yes.
And most importantly enough, I'm super interested in Ian Koji's history. Just
okay. Yep.
Makes who he is, why he is, and blah, blah, blah. Like, why is he so smart? Why is he dumbing himself down? Why is he giving everybody credit for all of his ideas? So what's his end goal? Why is he doing all this to begin with?
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
So, yeah, that's the whole idea. And I'm pretty sure everybody's on the same page because why is he doing what he's doing? Which is why we're all continuing to watch this to begin with.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
As far as season 1 of this is concerned, no, pretty good. I mean, we don't need to beat this one down. This is a old enough anime that everyone should be on the same page, and I hope everybody stayed concurrent on what we were talking about. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I'm going to say it again. It's so hard to keep all the characters straight.
So hard. Like, we've watched plenty of anime where a shit ton of characters have been dropped on us, but like this one felt a little excessive on who was who. That might be, I don't know. That's not fair to. I was about to say it might be because these names are fucking hardcore Japanese. It might be because of that, but at the same time, like maybe they're just not that mainstream anime Japanese name. But like these are a lot. These ones seem a little different.
I will give you that one. They are a little different, and I mean we've probably got introduced to 40 characters in 12 episodes.
Yeah, it is pretty excessive. It's not just Class D. It's random ass characters from Class A, B, and C.
Yep.
We got teachers. We got just random ass. Just whatever. There's so many,
and all of them are very unique. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So it's it'll be interesting.
All right. So I think this is going to conclude our talk about Classroom of the Elite Season 1. I think everyone's on a good stopping note there. So let's just start talking about some random ass anime bullshit. Okay. So in the beginning of this episode, we talked about some manga, and this is something we don't talk about often. We talk about anime in general, but like, Matt, you typically read a shit ton of manga on the side just to stay up to date with all the stuff. So like, where are you in manga? And yeah, just what's your manga history?
So I am current on Jujutsu and My Hero. I did talk about that earlier.
Right.
They are getting good. We'll just put it that way. Both of them are getting really good.
Oh, so Jujutsu's coming back up? Not to say that it was like down, but like it's still just good.
Yeah, it's still very good. I did start reading Freyrin, as I talked about. I think I only read like 2 chapters just because I had other stuff I needed to be.
So you literally just started it.
Yep. I wanted to read a little bit into Hell's Paradise. I have been listening to a shit ton of light novels. I'm on volume 6 of The World's Finest Assassin.
Okay.
Like, I'm super far into World's Finest Assassin at this point.
Have you been taking notes?
I have not been taking notes. No. I've just been enjoying it, like, to be completely honest. That's really all I've been doing. I've been very much focusing on light novels, and because it's just easier to do at work, to be completely honest.
100% understand.
I can listen to it, take notes, It's just kind of like I'll work, I'll pause what I'm doing, take a very quick note, continue, and every once in a while I'll do that. And that's kind of how it goes as far as the light novel is concerned. So it's just very easy to continuously do. And then I've been so busy with school, like I'm in J school right now.
Yep. For all of our listeners, this is the winter season.
Yep.
Which I don't know what the rest of the country / world does for their winter season, but as far as Wisconsin goes, it's an accelerated season.
It's a super accelerated.
Yeah. So
like
you have
it's 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
I'm
3 weeks to
doing
get an entire season's worth of shit in.
The semester.
Semester,
Yes.
yeah. Season. Yeah. I meant semester, yes.
Yeah. So my plate this past month has been insane.
Yep.
So it's just recently nothing. Once I get back into my regular semester, I can kind of start broadening what I'm doing. Hopefully, we'll see. Since class starts on Sunday for me. So it'll be interesting to know what my schedule is going to look like then. And it's been kind of hard to read everything. Honestly, I've taken a little bit of a breather this month as far as everything, just because the winter season hasn't been, there's not a whole lot out right now that I'm trying to watch. So it's been kind of nice to just get a woosah before next season.
Yeah, 100%. We can't run ourselves on fumes at this point.
Yep.
Especially if we're trying to do this long term. So it is nice that this winter season just so happens to be not super exciting.
Yes, there's definitely some good shows. I will 100% say that, but it's not like the fall season or the spring season where there's just like 10 shows that are going to be really good. So,
exactly.
No, the quality is still there, but not necessarily the quantity.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely not that quantity because I remember last season scrolling through everything like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to read the synopsis on every single one of these things.
Yep.
There was so much to offer. But yeah, I mean, despite all that, yes, there's less this season. That's totally fine.
Yep.
Because, yeah, let's just chill.
Yep. Are you reading anything else besides for short flights?
Reading?
Yes.
My short flights reading is still just Undead Unluck and Ragnar Crimson.
Okay. Still doing well on those?
Oh my God. You have no idea how hard it is to hold back from reading Undead Unluck.
Okay.
That is such the easiest goddamn read. And
okay.
I love this series so much. It's so much fun. So
good.
Yeah, I'm only holding back just so I can do my short flights more accurately. So, yeah.
So you're going to start buying some hard copies?
Ooh, buying stuff, that's probably no.
Okay.
I have a lot of adult home stuff that I'm trying to take care of.
Overrated.
So, yeah, I'm trying to be mature about everything. So
understandable. Okay.
Yes, I 100% love it.
Yes.
Undead Unluck is so goddamn good. And
so now we know what Emily can get you for your for Christmas next year. It's just a
Christmas presents would be amazing. I would love to have hardcover copies of
Undead Unluck. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, now that I say a hardcover copy, I'm not talking about like a
no. You're talking about the
hard copy, like
hard copies,
paper copy. Yes. Yeah, because I'm reading everything digitally.
Yes.
It's just in this day in life, it's just the easiest way to get through everything.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, loving that. Absolutely loving it. Second in line, Ragnar Crimson. Also fucking love it.
Good.
Pure fucking action. There's so much going on.
Yep.
Needless. It's just needless. Dude, yeah, exactly. It's just pure fucking action.
Okay. Nice.
So much fun.
So definitely two podcast-worthy shows. Can't wait.
Yes.
I have not watched either of them, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I will push those for near future stuff.
Okay.
We'll just have to see which one comes in English first.
Yep.
At the moment, Undead Unluck surprisingly has 0 episodes in English.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting because we're on core 2 of this series and not a single episode is English. But then we can talk about Ragnar Crimson, and they started English a while ago. So they're on High Dive, and High Dive is they're trying hard. High Dive is a very good source of anime, so I'm very pleased with them.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
As far as manga goes, that's all I'm reading.
Okay.
I do have high interest in other stuff that I do want to be like, ooh, let me just fucking dive into that. But I'm going to hold myself back until I have a little bit more free time.
Understandable. Hopefully it comes soon.
Yeah, we'll see. Beyond manga, other anime I'm watching, this season I'm watching Metallic Rouge. This is a very different anime.
Yeah, it's a mech one, right?
It's not technically mech. I thought it was mech because it looks like that.
Okay.
But we have androids that are coinciding with humans futuristically on the planet Mars.
Okay.
And there's a handful of guys, girls, people that can transform into these like Power Ranger kind of suits kind of thing. That's the best way I can say it. Like they have these transformations and I love it. I fucking love it. It's so much fun. And I don't know the purpose of all this shit is quite yet, but all I know is that it's very entertaining and interesting. I have no idea why it's starting and where it's ending. At the point of this recording today, I'm only 2 episodes in.
Okay.
Super invested because I just want to know what happens.
Understandable.
So we'll see what the future has to hold. I mean, I know I'm not going to launch this episode for like another solid month, so we'll see what happens. But just for a time frame for all of our listeners, Metallic Rouge, very, very pleased with this so far.
Cool. Nice.
And then just to throw my One Piece journey into the point.
Yes.
I think I've watched about 40 episodes worth since then, since our last episode.
So still not to the good parts?
Still not there. But despite any kind of shonen kind of stuff,
yes,
this last arc that I'm getting through is actually very interesting.
Okay.
We're
cool.
starting to get a little bit of darkness, a little bit of whatever. So we just
skip the first 300 episodes and start from there.
No, because I'm about on episode 250 right now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, where I left off with you guys last time, a couple episodes ago, I was like at like 200, 210.
Okay.
I think I just watched like 260 about that, somewhere around there. Anyway, this arc that I'm at is the Going Merry, the ship that they traveled on for the past forever, is finally breaking down. This thing cannot handle any more traveling.
Oh, no.
And most of the crew is having a bad time with it. And then Long Nose Usopp is so attached to this boat enough to the point where he is going to defect from the crew. And then he fights Luffy, loses to Luffy, gets kicked off of the pirate crew. So we lose a member there. Another member who we brought on a couple hundred episodes ago, her name's Robin. She's a bad guy, kind of. Yes and no. Like, she leaves the crew because she's doing bad things. And we're working... I don't know. There's so much crazy stuff going on. And this whole train, the sea train arc is very interesting.
Okay.
They're making Usopp, they're bringing a lot of emotion onto Usopp, which felt very forced because they made him feel like such a bitch before he got kicked out. He's just crying about how weak he is compared to everybody else, which is understandable, but like they forced it.
Okay.
It felt off.
Yeah.
Like they didn't work up to it in any degree, whatever. So that's my only complaint there, but that's 1990s anime. Anyway, this arc that I'm in is very interesting, and I think we're about to pick up as a main I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But I feel like we're about to pick up another new character, and this dude, he's an android.
Okay.
And he sucks up air through one of his hands, and then he can shoot it out like a bullet. And the characteristics, if I wanted to describe how he looks, he's basically like a blue-haired Ace Ventura, but just very bulky at the same time. Like a very buff. He's got Popeye's forearms, and he's very buff, but he looks like a blue-haired Ace Ventura. So that's the way I can describe him.
All right.
Frankie. His name's Frankie. He's very... very interesting. I'm liking this arc, and yeah, so that's where I'm at with my One Piece journey. I haven't completed this one. Things are still working out.
Okay.
This big storm just hit, and some people got stolen, and they're about to go save them, and Nico Robin isn't the bad guy. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I know none of that means anything to you, but if our listeners are anywhere familiar, they know where I'm at least.
Yeah.
So other than that, I have not been watching anything on the side.
Okay.
I'm preparing for our next episode.
Yep.
And that's about it. So,
awesome.
What about you? Have you been listening to anything on the side?
Nope. Just
nope.
What I'm watching is everything that I'm doing for short flights, which is Freyrin, still amazing. It's my choice for anime of the year. I am watching Solo Leveling.
I've been watching that with you on the side when I have time.
Yep. We're only 2 episodes in at this point. Fantastic.
Yep. 100%.
I'm hesitant to say that the hype is real,
at this point, no.
It's definitely building towards it, yes.
Especially the way episode 2 left off.
It's definitely building towards it, yes. That's really all I could say without spoiling anything.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So obviously this will be much later into the season, but it's really good so far. I'm glad I started watching it. And then I am also doing Mashal Season 2. Again, so far, loving it. Same thing as Spy Family. There's no reason for me to love it, but I love it. It's funny. And I can't wait to know what happens in Season 2. And then the other one I'm doing, we've already talked about, which is Season 3 of Classroom of the Elite. Very good so far. Again, very short into the season, so I can't wait for that one. But a lot more of the same and some new interesting things that they've done with Season 3 that they haven't done in the first 2 seasons. So we'll see if that continues to be a trend.
Okay.
Without giving anything away, that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. At this point in time, you're probably 2 episodes in.
3. Yep.
3?
Yep.
You're sold? You're interested?
As far as it is more of the same of Classroom Elite, yes. That's why I'm sold, is because I enjoy Classroom of the Elite.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So I think that's going to conclude all of our thoughts on what we're going to cover today. So thank you everybody for listening this far. If you have, please make sure to leave us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Also, we are supported by the AnimazeShow, so please go give them a follow on Facebook and Instagram. You can find their information in our show notes. And like we've been talking about this last couple minutes, we have our short flights on YouTube where we cover hot new anime coming out every single week, and we give off a reaction video on what we thought about those episodes. So go find us there, Anime Lounge Short Flights, and we will catch you guys next time.